In this video, we're putting together the Canoptek Reanimator from the Indomitus box set. Hello and welcome back to Winter Disco Tabletop Gaming, and we are putting together the Canoptek Reanimator, which is, I think, a fairly cool model in the Indomitus box set. And I'm recording at, honestly, the loudest time of day when it comes to trains, so I'm going to have the ambient soundscape of trains in the background, which would be very nice. So looking at the instruction of this model, it seems relatively straightforward. I don't think it's actually that difficult to put together, so let's crack on and get on with it. So we need the H sprue, which is the one that we've been working on throughout this build, for this first half of the build. So we need to get basically the center of the body built, then the legs, if we can get that in the camera, and then adding on extra armor bits and little bits and pieces. So nothing too much. So first off, we need 31 and 32. So let's find that on the sprue. So obviously really clear, it's these two right here. It's not that difficult to figure out because there's not much left on the sprue. So I hope you're all doing well. I'm doing very well. Get to put together some models, which I love doing. So if you have been watching or following along all of the builds for this series, definitely let me know. Let me know how you're going with it. Because, like I said, I'm enjoying it. The models are pretty good. And yeah, now we're getting into the more of the units. So I wanted to get through a lot of the characters so I could get the videos up, since the units will take longer to put together, simply because there's more models. So I'll give this a little clean, nothing overly difficult. So I've got the camera in a different spot today, so we will see if that works. I'm still trying to figure out the exact positioning of the camera and where it is without it getting knocked around a lot, but we will see. So there is a lot of contact points on these parts of the model, and actually all the parts of this particular model, simply because there's a lot of little bits of detail that are here and there. So even though there's not many parts, I think there's like less than 10 parts, this will take a bit of time to do. So just be patient, work your way through it, clean up the mold lines, and away we go. So this model is one of my favorites in the whole box. I do like the creepy tall leg boy version. I do like that. I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, I have been looking forward to doing this one. I was thinking about leaving it to the end, but then I changed my mind. I'm like, no, I want to do this. I want to get this one done. Yeah, there's lots of little bits, so yeah, like I was saying, if you are doing the build along, let me know in the comments. So I'm interested to see how people are enjoying it. I'm getting a lot of comments on these videos, which is nice, about the models that they're enjoying, and things like that. Alright, cables. Got to be careful on the cables because you want to keep them kind of clear, and I'd forget to do that one on this one here. So just be careful on these ones. Since it is the best model in the box, you don't want to break it. You don't want to do wrong by it. So a lot of them aren't too bad, so I'm not going to spend too much time. I can always come back and fix it up, because I do want to get these videos, kind of going a bit quicker than I have been. So this bad boy pretty much slides together by the looks of it. So you got two pegs in there, and it just goes straight in like that. So let's do that. So what I'll do, I'll just put a little bit of glue in each of the holes, sort of a little bit here and there on the joins, probably a little bit in there can go. And there we go. So I just want to make sure that I'm doing this correct, because we don't want to have an accident. I'm just referring to the instructions, but yeah, it's pretty straightforward. There's two pegs, and it goes into the two pegs. And normally, yeah, I kind of wish I did trim the pegs a bit, but that's okay. that's gone on. So even that bit, that would be really cool. Put a little bit of a head on there, I think, something, and then it just sort of just floats around like that. Few extra tendrils and cables and things. I think that would be really cool by itself. Even just a couple of legs, so it's like a creepy boy creeping about. That's really cool. All right. The next we have the main part, which are the 2 legs. So I think when the Canoptek, is it it's not the Destroyer, it's the Decimator? I don't know. The other version that has the big cannon on the top. I think it's all going to be multi-part. I'm hoping the legs are multi-part, simply because I want to do heaps of cool poses with it. But as this is an easy to build kit and push fit, you have 2 parts. That's it. 2 giant legs. And they are 33 and 35 on the sprue. And honestly, you can't miss it. It's there and there. They're massive. So we can just cut them off. I'll quickly get this off the sprue. And I think what I will do, I'll just stick it together and I'll come back and fix up all those contact points. Because I will be here for hours doing that. It's one of my favourite things to do though. So that just pops out. And then the other one. So just be careful on the base, because they do have the little pegs that go into the base. Which reminds me, I do have to grab the base. It's in the other box, because I didn't bring it over. So I'm trying to keep this on camera, but it is quite difficult because of the angle I'm sitting at. But this model, so much detail on this. I'm really excited to try and give it a paint. Like I said before, I'm not much of a painter, but I definitely kind of want to do a painter's guide, a beginner's painted guide for beginners, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's an idea I've got. I don't know. We'll see. I know a few people have asked if I was going to do painting, and I've kind of said I want to, but we'll see. Now, I am going to cut off, if I can keep it in camera, I'm going to cut off a few bits and pieces just ones that, I just cut myself. Nope, I'm alright. Just the bigger ones, but generally, I'm not too fussed at the moment. I'm going to come back and fix all that later. There may be a few that are going to be difficult to get to, but should be okay. So like, for example, that one there, I'll get rid of, because I'm going to probably have problems getting into that later. Possibly, I'm not sure. By the looks of it, this is at the back, so I might not have too much of a problem. Okay, let's get that last little bit there. I'll tidy that up because that's going to be a crucial spot. Alright, and the other leg. Okay, so these legs I can get back to later. Everything else seems to be okay for now. I'll just tidy that one up. And everything else looks mostly cool. And let's be honest, if you take out a big nick, don't be too phased by it. They're Necrons, they've already got a lot of battle damage anyway, and they are millions of years old, so don't be too hard on yourself. Because if you watch the other videos for the Necrons, you know I've already made a few mistakes, but nothing that wasn't fixable. So, okay, I think this will probably do for now. Alright, so I'm just looking at the instructions. I'll bring the instructions back over for this one. Because there are two different sides. It'll be pretty straightforward to put together. So we go like that, and then we have this bit here with the pylon, and that goes in that side there. So there are 3 contact points for this. So I'm thinking with this one, I think I will cut a little bit off these 2 here. I don't want to cut too much, that's probably a bit too much. Like I said before, it just relieves some of that pressure once there's glue in there. And that will be fine. And with the other one, we don't particularly need to do that too much. I'm just thinking, is there any other points that we can glue? Yeah, we can put a little tab of glue on that bit there. There are some cables that go ahead. And I'm just looking at the other model. So a little bit of glue there as well. So this should all go in without any issues, he says, and completely stuffing it up. It happens. And that cable seemed to go in as well, didn't? I'm pretty sure that cable slid in. There's no other cables? Ah, there's the cable there. Okay. Alright, so we've got that half in. So there is that little bit there. I don't know if you can see it. There is a little bit of sprue left over, but that doesn't matter because the panels go over the top. Now we do the same for this side. We'll just cut off a little bit. Just a little tiny bit at an angle. Probably a little bit more than that. That's probably fine. I just like to do this because I've had problems before where it's a really, really tight fit once you've got the glue in there and you can't do much else about it. So again, the same here, and there is some little cables, so I'm just going to add a little dab of glue there. And a little bit of glue there. Get a little bit of glue there, and a little bit of glue in there, and then we can just put it all in together. So that's kind of it, isn't it? Okay, that bit's got to go in. It's not quite in far enough yet. I'm just fiddling around with that bit of that. Oh, is it all going in? Kind of. So it hasn't quite gone in properly. Doesn't feel 100% correct. I'm just looking at it, seeing if it lines up and stands up. So it stands up properly. It doesn't look 100% right at the top there, because I think, there we go, that's it. I just needed a bit of push. And that's what I was saying about cutting those pegs back a bit. I didn't do it on the top, and that's what was causing a bit of pressure, and a bit of glue came out. But that's okay. So far, looking pretty good, and that's really the bulk of it. There are lots and lots of detail in here, so you could keep this all separate and paint it in multiple parts, in little sub-assemblies. I think that would be a fairly pretty good thing to do, but that's fine. So we're going to put that over there. Now, a few more bits to go. We have the armor panels, a little bit of the head, and then a fist. I think that's one of the giant AdMech robot boy hands by the looks of it. So we'll get those panels out. So 34 and 36 and 38. So we'll cut everything out, I think. So we're looking for the head. So the little head is down here. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little disappointed that this kit wasn't split up into more parts. I was hoping for a little bit more of a challenging build, a little bit more options when it comes to placing the legs and everything. But, you know, not much we can do about that. Hopefully there will be, well, there is another kit for I'm pretty sure it's the Decimator that's coming out. But that, I'm sure, will be multi-part. I'm just hoping that at least the legs are separate. I mean, there's nothing to stop you from cutting the legs up and doing it yourself. It's all very much joints there. You can glue it all back together. It's not that big an issue. And throw some other cables on if you want. And I just noticed there is a little bit of sprue in here, so we're going to cut that off. So there's all a little tiny bit. So there are a bit. I'm going to go up and tidy that later. That'll be fine. Okay, so there's a few points on here that you should clean up, simply because it needs to be flat armor panels. And I'm cutting into these panels way too deep, but oh yeah, I did cut myself a little bit of blood there. But I'm not too fussed because you're not really going to see these bits. Alright, that's one bit. So this build is actually fairly quick. Definitely not the quickest. The Canoptek Plasma Sight was the quickest. This little fella here, this little one, cute little boy, I like him. That's definitely the quickest one, but this one is relatively fast. And I'm kind of speeding through. I want to speed these videos up a bit. I think in lieu of editing it down, I think we'll do speed it up a bit. Actually, what we'll do, we'll cut the rest of the head up. Don't you fall over. So there we go. That's pretty straightforward. Oh, blood is definitely coming out now. Let's just get rid of that. And there's really not... There's a little bit to work on the sprues. Sorry, I've got to get this in shot, don't I? I'm going to blood everywhere. So we can put the head on in a second. So the panels. Let's see how the panels go. So the panels go forward face like that. So like that, and it goes sort of that way. Let's bring this back into shot. So it might be a weird angle because we're looking down. So we'll get the angle right. Yeah, so it goes on like that. So it looks like there's 2 contact points. This actually might be, you can probably make 3 contact points. So I'll go on the 2 pegs and then a little bit there. So I'm going to cut the pegs down just a tiny bit and almost shoot my face off. So I might actually glue it onto this one here. And it is at a bit of an angle, so hopefully you can see that on the camera. There we go. That slides in there. It's a little wobbly, but that's probably because I cut the pegs, so I won't cut the pegs on this side. There's always a discussion about, do you put the glue on the pegs or in the holes? I still don't know. I don't think we'll ever know. So it does feel a bit flimsy when you do put it on, but it does seem to grip, particularly, yeah, look, you can move that one, and you can't move that one, and that one moves around, so I shouldn't have cut those pegs as much as I did. But it doesn't seem to be sitting as flush as the other side. That's fine, we can go with that. Now, I don't know if you can hear that yelling outside. Like I said, it's a busy time of day in this area, but you know, we gotta do what we gotta do. Gotta make these models. So this head, as far as I'm aware, it goes on that spot there. Yeah, so it's just a single spot, but there is a hole there. So it seems to go upside down. No, that's upside down. That's weird. So there is another hole for that. So, okay, so you do have to push it on, give a bit of force, and then it'll slide in. But it is, I'm not going to lie, it is kind of flimsy to get that all on. So it does feel that there is, oh, there's even sort of glue contact just in there. I might just dab a little bit of glue in there. That's not great, but that'll stick it. And then on this side, I'll do the same thing. Okay. Yeah, I missed that. I didn't realize that was a contact point. So now I need to find the base. So for the base, it is the 65mm base with the big 3 ones, and they are over in this box over here. So I'm going to go back while I'm doing this. Luckily, I knew exactly where it was. I just was not prepared. So let's put this puppy together. So I'm just thinking, so it does straight, you have to pull it a bit by the looks of it. So you don't necessarily have to put it on the base, but it is so flimsy down the bottom, I definitely recommend it. And just a little bit of glue, that should be enough. And I don't mind this new system they're using for the peg holes. I find that's kind of cool. Okay, and that one's going on, so that looks pretty cool so far, but now we finally need the hand, which is 38, and that goes somewhere. It just sits somewhere in there. It doesn't really have a particular spot. I'm just looking to see if there's any, there is a peg, it's right there. Wow, sometimes I'm just a bit of an idiot, to be honest. Sometimes I just don't see the things that need to be seen. So what's this video getting at? So it's just ticked over 20 minutes. Probably be shorter than that because I did start recording and didn't do anything. So, you know, you can get it through pretty quick. I did a bit of work on, what am I saying? Cleaning it up and things like that, but you don't necessarily have to. And this is actually really difficult. I don't know if that's sliding into there, into the peg hole. There it is. Okay, so there is, you're not going to be able to see from here. If I get a little pointer. So just on this side, there is sort of a tiny little groove that it will slide into. And there we go. This one is really, really good. I really like this. I didn't realise there's so much shadow. But yeah, what do you think? What do you think of this model? Like I said, I think this is my favourite. There's so much detail on here that you can get into. But yeah, thanks for watching, and if you have enjoyed this, please do subscribe, because we have tons more videos coming out, and I can see a little bit that needs to be fixed up, but that's fine. And comment as well if this is your favourite boy. The big tall boy is what I call him. Yeah, I like it. I think it's really cool. There's so many details, like a little, I don't know if you can even see that, there's a little tiny scarab down in there. Just a little tiny one. Just, oh, see if I can, I don't know if you can see it. I'll bring it closer. Just a little tiny scarab. There's one there as well. I think that's cool. Okay, so until next time, thank you for watching, and I will catch you later.